Hey, good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to tonight's virtual construction update meeting for the Transform 66 Outside the Beltway project, hosted by the Virginia Department of Transportation and its project partners, I-66 Express Mobility Partners and FAM Construction. My name is Michelle Holland. I'm with VDOT's Mega Projects Program, and on behalf of our team, I'd like to thank you for joining us tonight. Tonight's session will focus on construction activities along the I-66 project corridor in the western part of Fairfax County, spanning from Bull Run to Waples Mill Road. We will hold another session tomorrow night that will focus on construction activities, again along the 66 corridor, but in the eastern part of Fairfax County, from Germantown Road to the I-495 interchange area. Tonight's session will begin with a presentation, followed by a question and answer session. Our goal is to provide you with the latest construction updates on our project, as well as an opportunity to interact with project staff and ask questions. Tonight's meeting is being streamed live and recorded on our VDOT Live YouTube channel. Following tonight's meeting, a recording will be available on our project website at transform66.org outside the Beltway. Before we begin, I'd like to review some quick guidelines so everyone can participate and get the most out of tonight's meeting. Participants joining us through WebEx will be able to ask questions by accessing the WebEx Q&A function. Just click on the Q&A room, select all panelists on the drop-down menu, and then type in your question. If you are joining us via YouTube or are not able to submit your question through the Q&A room on WebEx, you can call our construction hotline number at 703-662-3892 to ask your question. Our team is standing by at that number and will relay your question to our speakers. You can type in or call in your questions at any time during tonight's meeting, but we will not begin answering them until after our presentation. Please keep in mind that in the interest of time, if we get multiple questions that are similar in nature, we will provide a combined response. If you are using the WebEx Q&A feature to ask your questions, we ask that you only write in your questions. The Q&A feature should not be used for any other type of commentary during the meeting. Any individual that does not abide by our ground rules or who submits anything inappropriate will be asked to leave the meeting. I would now like to recognize and welcome some of our officials who have joined us at today's meeting. I'd like to recognize VDOT and welcome VDOT's Northern Virginia District Administrator, Mr. John Lynch, who has joined us this evening. Our partners from Fairfax County, including Martha Coelho, who has joined us this evening. And we have two elected officials who I believe have joined us, Delegate Rome and Supervisor Kathy Smith. Delegate Rome, would you like to say a few words if you are on to welcome our group? Okay, the delegate may not be on yet at this time, so we're going to go ahead and ask Supervisor Smith if you'd like to say anything to the group before we get started.
Yes, I'm really excited to hear your update. We've seen a lot of progress with the project, and I think this is a great time for you to update the community. So thank you for everybody for participating.
Okay. Thank you, Supervisor Smith. I'd like now to introduce our speakers for tonight's meeting. Susan Shaw, who is our Director of Mega Projects for VDOT, is here this evening. Chris Doherty is here. He is our Corporate Affairs Director with our partners, I-66 Express Mobility Partners. Nancy Smith, who's Public Relations Director with FAM Construction. And Rich Clifton has also joined us this evening from FAM Construction. He serves as the engineer in charge for FAM. Okay, we're going to go ahead and kick off our presentation this evening. I'm going to turn it over to Susan and Nancy. Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle. It's good to be back. We did a similar type meeting back in the fall, October of 2020. This is our roadmap that we've been using on the project since we began. And you can see, as we talked about last fall, we had our WMATA shutdown during the summer of 2020, which allowed quite a bit of work in the eastern end of the corridor. But in this part of the corridor, one of a really critical milestone was removing all of the traffic signals from Route 28, and that was achieved in November of 2020. Since that time, there's been a number of activities underway, and I'm sure if you drive the corridor, you've seen lots of changes in the past few months. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Nancy. You can see we're working towards our next huge milestone, which will be December 2022 of having the lanes open. But with that, I'm going to turn it over to Nancy and let her walk through some of the details of what's going on in this part of the 66 corridor.
Thank you, Susan. I'm going to start on the eastern end of the project area that we'll be covering tonight and work my way west just for some reference. So beginning at the Waples Mill Road Bridge over I-66. As you can see here in the picture on the photo, we are looking to the south over top of I-66. We're reconstructing, rebuilding Waples Mill Road Bridge over the highway, widening the bridge and shifting it slightly to the west to make room for the expanded highway and express lanes underneath. We're also improving bike and pedestrian crossings across this bridge. We're building this bridge in two phases to be able to maintain traffic throughout construction. The first phase of the new bridge opened to traffic in November of last year. Then shortly thereafter in winter, this past winter, we began demolition of the remainder of the old bridge. Construction of the rest of the new bridge is underway, and we anticipate completion by spring of next year. Just to the west is the Route 50 interchange, and you may have heard news about this interchange in the news over the weekend. And if you live around this interchange, you'll want to call special attention to many of the changes that have recently been implemented. But first, as an overall, we're looking here in the image of two new Route 50 bridges over I-66. The image that you see is looking towards the south over top of I-66. We're reconstructing the entire interchange, shifting it slightly to the east. And accommodating the widened highway underneath, as well as new ramps to and from the express lanes. So far, we have, as you can see in the picture, constructed new bridge decks over I-66 and are working to shift the roadway alignment for both Route 50 East and West. Just this past weekend on Sunday, we opened up the new Route 50 West Bridge to traffic. And then beginning tonight, as under upcoming construction activities, you'll see we will begin demolition of the westbound bridge, the old westbound bridge, beginning tonight. In a couple weeks, around July 10th, we will shift traffic on the Route 50 East bridge to the new traffic pattern, and then begin demolition of that old bridge. As a reminder, and this holds true for all bridge demolition throughout the project corridor, we will conduct demolition during the daytime hours when it is feasible. However, any demolition that needs to be done over top of travel lanes of I-66 must be done during the overnight hours, and those travel lanes on I-66 can be closed for the safety of the traveling public and the workers. In addition to shifting traffic onto the new bridges and realigning the Route 50 east and west and demolishing the old bridges, you'll see us continuing to work on earthwork around the interchange and on the paving of the ramps. And we'll also begin construction of the new express lane access ramps to and from the east. Moving west at Monument Drive, prior to the project, Monument Drive, the ramps to Monument Drive from I-66 were HOV-only ramps. When the project is complete, we will be opening Monument Drive to full-time express lane access ramps, both to and from I-66 east and west. Additionally, Fairfax County, with project concession fee funding, is also building a new parking garage on the south side of I-66, just next to Monument Drive Bridge. In the photo that you see here in the center, on the lower half, towards the bottom of the picture, is towards Fairfax Corner shopping area on the south side, and the ramps that you can see in the center of the screen heading to I-66 east and from I-66 west. To add the new access ramps on the west side of the bridge, we are expanding this bridge. And so you can see in the picture on the west side, or on the left-hand side of the bridge image in the center, the beginnings of new bridge foundations on the outside of the highway. Upcoming activities that you'll see in this area are continued construction on those new bridge abutments, but the remainder of our work to widen this bridge will take place after we've shifted traffic on the general purpose lanes through this area this coming fall. At the Fairfax County Parkway, the image that you see here is actually driving under I-66 bridges over top of the Fairfax County Parkway. We are expanding the I-66 bridges that run over top of the Fairfax County Parkway. Prior to current activities, we've did partial demolition of those bridges, of the outside portion of the bridges. We've constructed new foundations for those widened bridges, and we've set beams for those new bridges. So going forward, we'll continue on our work on those new bridge decks in preparation to shift traffic on I-66 to those new bridge spans over the parkway this coming fall. At Stringfellow Road, the image that you see here on the screen is looking towards the north. You may recognize the park and ride lot at Stringfellow Road, just off to the upper left-hand side of the bridge for some orientation. You can also see parallel to I-66, the makings of two new bridges over top of Stringfellow Road. We set these bridge beams over this winter and spring, and deck work is well underway here. For this crossing of I-66, we are pushing I-66 out to make room for new express ramps to and from the east and the center median, as well as to make room for space for future transit down the center of I-66. Upcoming activities that you'll see in this area over the coming months is that as these bridges that you see in the image are completed, we will begin to shift traffic on I-66 east and west onto these new outside bridges here in the late summer and early fall timeframe. Once we shift that traffic, we'll then begin to demolish the old bridges. And as I said previously, with Route 50, this demolition work will need to occur during overnight hours when we are working directly over top of the travel lanes of Stringfellow Road. As with all our demolition activities, we'll do public outreach prior to the start of demolition so that the neighbors that live in the vicinity are well informed prior to demolition beginning. At the Route 28 interchange, probably our most of our most complicated areas of the project. We call this our mini mixing bowl for those of you who may be familiar with other parts of the region. Here we are reconstructing the entire interchange to accommodate new connections for the express lanes and the widened highway. As Susan mentioned just a few moments ago, we met some major milestones last fall with removing the traffic signals, the 4 remaining traffic signals along this portion of the 28 corridor. In order to be able to remove those signals, we opened up several new ramp movements to be able to provide new access. You can see a listing of those here, but in general, we opened up new access from I-66 East to 28 North, from 28 South to I-66 East, opened a new ramp from I-66 West to 28 North, and then also opened the new Braddock Road, Walney Road overpass and ramp from I-66 West. This past spring, we partially demolished the existing Route 28 South Bridge over I-66. And just this past weekend, we opened up the new permanent ramp to I-66 West from Braddock Road and Walney Road, and some additional movements for Walney Road. I'll go through those in a little more detail in a second, but I just want to point out some upcoming construction activities that will be noticeable as you travel around this interchange, or for those of you who live in the vicinity. This summer, we will begin to install bridge beams and begin construction of the new 28 South collector distributor lanes over top of I-66. And then once that work is complete, we will shift traffic and begin to demolish the remainder of the existing Route 28 South Bridge over I-66 this fall. Of course, earthwork and paving will continue. We are building 14 new ramps and bridges at this interchange. And as of the end of last year, we had constructed 7 of those bridges. So much more work to continue at this interchange, and that work will continue here through the end of the project. We included here a visual and for those of you who joined us last time or have visited us on our project website may have seen this rendering video that we have produced for the project. But this is just wanted to give you an overview of what the interchange at 28 will look like when we're complete. The photo that I was showing previously, here we're looking north, and this is taken just a couple weeks ago. We are mid-construction here, and then here you can see final configuration with north kind of up in the heading towards the upper left-hand corner of your screen. So what the final interchange will look like. I mentioned some new traffic patterns and new movements that began this past weekend on Sunday, the 27th, for Braddock Road and Walney Road. We activated 2 new traffic signals on the Braddock Road, Walney Road overpass, and the activation of those signals allowed for new movements to occur. The first was that we were able to open the new permanent ramp to I-66 West from Braddock Road and Walney Road. So that's new access for Walney and Braddock Road drivers. That can be seen here on the map by the green arrow and the green line on the screen. We also opened access for those traveling from Walney Road to Route 28 South and to I-66 East using the ramp that existed already for Braddock Road. And that can be seen here in the blue and black lines in the map on the screen. Now, due to the continued closure of the loop ramp from 28 South to I-66 East, which is the loop ramp that you see here marked out in red X's, this loop ramp will remain closed through October, this October, for other construction activities. Vehicles that are headed to I-66 East from either Braddock Road or Walney Road are currently being detoured via the ramps at the Route 28-29 interchange just to the south and to head back to I-66 East. We also currently, this weekend, closed the loop ramp from Route 28, from I-66 West to Route 28 South. And while that that ramp is temporarily closed and a detour in place. Vehicles crossing from Braddock Road to Walney Road are prohibited from continuing to head east. However, on or about August 22nd, when we end that temporary detour for the loop ramp, vehicles that are heading east from Braddock Road to Walney Road will be able to cross over the overpass. And here, that detour that I just mentioned, you can see in a bit more detail. We have, as I mentioned, we have temporarily closed the ramp from I-66 West to Route 28 South that began this past Sunday. This closure will allow for construction of the new permanent ramp. And during this closure, we're directing traffic to take the exit from I-66 West to Braddock Road and Walney Road. Make a left at the traffic signal on the top of the ramp, stay to the left, and then make a left at the second light onto Route 28 South. The ramp from I-66 West to Route 28 South will reopen on the weekend of August 20th. At Route 29 in Centreville, we're widening the I-66 bridges over Route 29, and these are being constructed in 2 phases to be able to maintain traffic on I-66. We're also expanding the I-66 out to make room for future transit in the center median of the corridor. Construction of the outside portions of the new I-66 East and West bridges over 29 was completed, and traffic was shifted onto those new bridges at the end of 2021. And currently and upcoming, we are continuing work on those inside bridges, and we're looking to install bridge beams on the inside portion of the I-66 bridges here later this summer in the late July and early August timeframe. Those bridge beam installations will take place over 2 weekends in that late July, early August timeframe. And here in the image that you can see on the screen, just for some orientation, we are looking north is towards the top of the picture, and we are, so we're looking kind of north west, and where the I-66 eastbound lanes are heading towards the right-hand side of the image. In addition to all the work that we're doing on the various crossings and interchanges throughout the project corridor, you also, as you drive the project corridor, you're seeing a lot of work on I-66 itself. Today, our focus is on shifting I-66 east and west onto the new general purpose or the outer lanes in various sections. This focused work began this past spring and will continue through fall of this year. On the far western portion of our project corridor between Route 29 Gainesville and just west of Route 29 Centreville, we are working to get the travel lanes shifted on both I-66 east and west by the end of this month. So in just 2 more days' time, we look to have all the travel lanes in that area shifted to those new outer lanes, which will be the new permanent general purpose lanes along both I-66 east and west. Between Route 50 and Route 29 Centreville, we're also working to shift travel lanes to the those new general purpose or outer lanes on both east and westbound, and that will be done in various sections throughout the summer and into the fall timeframe. In some of these areas where space is more constrained, the lane shifts may include some temporary traffic splits. And I'm going to go into a little bit of detail on one of those areas that we have coming up in the next few weeks. So on I-66 East, between Route 29 Centreville and Route 28, we will be shifting traffic on or about the weekend of July 10th. When we do implement this traffic shift, the 3 left-hand travel lanes will continue on in their same configuration as they are today. However, the rightmost lane will shift to the outside and will be separated from the 3 left lanes. So as you see in the image here, you have 2 call-out boxes in the bottom. The leftmost call-out box shows the area as you are approaching where the traffic shift is. So the left HOV lane and the 2 left general purpose lanes will continue straight as they do today. And that rightmost lane, which is also the lane that you would take to exit to Route 28 North, is shifted to the right and separated by a work zone. The traffic will remain in this configuration for approximately 6 weeks while construction progresses in the area to be able to prepare to shift all the travel lanes to the outside. And so that lane split would be shifted to the outside lanes on or about August 20th in that time frame. And here you see a cross section of what that would look like from a driver's view as you approach the area, with the 3 travel lanes to the left, 1 travel lane to the right, which also is your exit lane to Route 28 North. And then the rightmost lane that you see here, the auxiliary lane, is the ramp coming off of Route 29 Centreville onto I-66 East, and the ramp going to Route 28 North. Now, our construction along I-66 Mainline obviously includes more than just roadway paving and widening. We are also working on constructing retaining walls and noise walls throughout the corridor. So throughout the summer and months and into the fall, you'll see continued noise wall and retaining wall construction along I-66 East and West from the Route 29 Centreville Interchange area through Waples Mill Road. We have had some delays in material supply, namely in steel posts and panel production for noise wall panels throughout the corridor due to COVID-19. And our crews continue to work to be able to get new noise walls installed as quickly as possible. Some other work that you'll see here, we'll see grading for the shared use path that's being built as part of the I-66 project along I-66 West. And we'll also be finishing final grading and drainage on the non-highway side of those new noise walls. The images that you see here are some examples of what some of the new noise walls look like. The picture on the top is an example of what a ground-mounted noise wall looks like. This is a concrete made of a concrete material with a fluted finish on the highway side and a kind of a rocky, called fuzzy break finish on the residential or non-highway side. These are held into the ground with posts that are drilled into the ground and then and placed on the ground, hence ground mounted. The picture on the bottom you see is an example of a noise wall that is mounted atop of what is, it says on the footnote here, MSC retaining wall. And MSC is a mechanically stabilized earth retaining wall. Special type of retaining wall engineered to hold earth back where I-66 sits higher than the surrounding communities. The noise walls that are on top of these retaining walls are of a lighter weight material to be able to be placed on top of these retaining walls. As part of the project plans, we do have revegetation plans for the project corridor that were developed by project construction subsegment. The final approved plans will be available on the project website outside.transform66.org. The plans do include indigenous and non-competitive species and plants that are adept to living along a roadside environment, so more of a hardier species. But the plantings of any trees would occur within VDOT right-of-way where we have space available and where there are no restrictions from easements or other utilities. Any any revegetation along the corridor will occur as a final construction item. Due to the cicadas brood X this year, we had delayed any revegetation plantings until this fall in areas where we are ready for revegetation. But this is a final construction item so that we don't have to come back and potentially remove plantings if we need to do some additional work in an area. So I think before our Q&A, we just wanted to make sure that you had all the information and we're aware of all the tools that are available for you and the public to be able to get information and keep updated on the project. We have a very robust project website at transform66.org. On this website, you'll find information on lane closures and traffic pattern changes updated weekly or more frequently. We also have section pages for all of the 19 interchanges, overpasses, and various features along the project, and as well as a project intermap and much more. If you've not been to the project website in a while, I highly encourage you to do so. It's a great place for information. And if you've never visited the project website, please do. We send out emails every week with upcoming lane closures and traffic alerts for work coming up in the next week. And that's a great way to stay informed about travel impacts for the project. You can sign up to receive these e-blasts right from the project website. VDOT Northern Virginia District's Twitter feed is also a great way to stay up to date on what's happening right now out along the corridors throughout the region, but also where reminders and updates are posted about work that will be coming up along the project corridor. And then finally, there are ways you can get in touch with our project team directly. FAM Construction has a hotline number that is here. You can see here on the screen for construction related inquiries. We also have VDOT's Customer Service Center, and these phone lines go directly to project staff to be able to address your questions and concerns. There are also 2 email addresses that you can correspond with project staff listed here on your screen, transform66@vdot.virginia.gov, as well as outreach@fam66.us. These emails come directly to our project team and are able to be responded to very quickly should you have any questions about any aspect of the project. All right, so now I'm going to ask Susan to come back up.
Okay, I think we're going to begin our Q&A session. So just a reminder that you can, if you're joining us through WebEx, there's a way to click on the Q&A room, select all panelists on the drop-down menu, and then you can type your question. If you're joining us through YouTube, you can call the number that's listed here, 703-662-3892. Or you can email, and we're monitoring our email inbox if there's any questions relative to what we are discussing tonight. But before we begin, I did want to go back. I know that Delegate Rome has joined us and wanted to give her an opportunity to speak or say a few words. Okay. All right. Okay, so we're going to look at answering some of the questions. So I'll be reading these, and then if I can answer them, I will. If not, I'm going to have somebody else assist with answering the questions. So am I starting at the top? So we start at the top. Okay. Okay. So there's a question that says, when will there be an auxiliary lane for 66 eastbound between exit 52, which is route or US 29 Centreville, and exit 53, Virginia 28 North? And so we're anticipating that will be available by the end of July of this year. Okay. So there's another question that says, based on the current construction progress, will the express lanes open before December 2022 or before September 2022? And I would just say right now the team is definitely on track to complete the project by December of 2022. The more difficult, complex work is closer to the 495 interchange. And so that's some of the work that will currently what we're showing definitely will need all of that time to get completed. So right now we're on schedule, but not planning to open the lanes early. So there is. Sorry, I'm going to scroll down here to answer another question. So this is from a resident that lives close to the project. So good evening, this fall will mark 3 years since construction began 100 feet from my home. Since last spring, we have been without a retaining wall. When will this be installed? I was told June 30th, but the only thing I see are traffic lights and a partial wall to the left of my home and still a large expanse behind my property. I'm not sure, this is Denise to all the panelists, talking about concern about intermittent blasting, which is continuing, and that the traffic noise is getting louder as more people are returning to work. This is at Heritage Crossing Community. So I don't know, Nancy or we may need to, yeah. So we will look into that and make sure that we post that answer. Okay. Okay, sorry, we're having just a little bit of technical difficulties. There we go. So this is another question about, will all the lanes open at the same time, or will some sections open before others? I know that, and then they also note that I-77 express lanes in North Carolina is an example of express lanes opening in phases. There's no contract provision that prohibits that, but nor is there a requirement to open it as areas are completed. It is something I would just say the department, VDOT, is willing to discuss with the toll operator if it's something that they desire, but at this point in time, that's not been determined. We're really focused on making sure that the entire project, which is a contract requirement, meet the toll day 1 in December of 2022. Is this presentation available for downloading? Yes, it will be posted to our Transform 66 website tomorrow. And YouTube link along with so that you could actually go back and look at the presentation, what's been presented. Will you be able to get on the express? So this is another question. Will you be able to get on the express lanes going east on I-66 from Braddock Road? I don't see where you can get on the express lanes, only the local lanes. You will be able to get onto the express lanes as you come east from Braddock Road. You will be able to go east and west on both the express and the GP lanes, correct? Oh, Rich's. So, well, I will just say that you will be able to get onto the express lanes. That's a yes. When will the ramp from I-66 East to 28 North avoid the merge with 28 North until after the Braddock Road Walney Bridge? So I think they're talking about the merge if you're going from 66 East to Virginia 28 North. Right now, the merge is short. And when will it? Okay. So we're not really sure. We might need clarification on that question because it does avoid the merge with Virginia 28 North until after the Braddock Road Walney Bridge. I mean, I think it can merge after that. We'll need to confirm. So this might be any of these questions where we're a little bit unclear tonight. I will just say that we will post them on the website and make sure that there's an accurate answer. Will the new 28 South Bridge over 66 completely, I did something, completely, sorry. I don't know what I did. That thing is. Okay, sorry about that. Will the new 28 South Bridge over 66 completely replace the current one? Yeah, so there's two bridges. So yes, that it will do that. What is the schedule for the completion of the I-66 trail elements? Will they be open in December 2022 or 2023? So while the express lanes will be open in December of 2022, there may be some work that continues into mid-2023. Whether those elements will include sections of the trail remains to be seen. As we get closer to the December 2022 timeframe, we'll be able to identify better which elements would lag into the 2023 timeframe. The completion date for all of the work is by no later than August 1 of 2023. With all of the shift changes, it has become increasingly difficult to determine where the lane markings are. Will the project include updated high visibility markings to enhance nighttime foul weather driving? We have been doing that as we move through the corridor. Certainly, if there's areas that are of concern to you, let us know where those are. On temporary pavement, it is a constant issue to make sure that those lane markings remain fresh and visible. So we'll continue to do that. I think the challenge here is that we won't be doing final striping until very much towards the end of the project, and that's when you'll really get the best quality of pavement markings. There's a question about, is there any idea for a time frame for the Orange Line extension out this far? As Nancy mentioned, much of the work that we're doing is to widen and make room for that. But funding for the Orange Line would be completely separate and apart from this project. And so, that would be something that Fairfax County and other transportation agencies would need to look at to determine how to fund such a project. Let's see, this is a detailed one more question. So going from Route 29 South to Route 28 North, and then taking the left-hand exit for the Braddock Road, I think it's Walney Road, is very inconvenient and possibly dangerous. Is this a permanent situation? This is going from Route 29 South, Route 29 North, and then taking the left hand. So you have to weave across, so that is a temporary situation that will be significantly improved in the future. So I am not seeing any other questions coming up. Oh, here comes another question. So I will just note that we are slated to be here through 8:30 if we keep having questions, but if we don't, we would, close out the meeting earlier. And this is the last question that I'm seeing that's come through. There's a couple more. Okay, so there are a couple of more. So if you're thinking of asking a question, you should go ahead and ask it. So will another layer of asphalt be applied on the new section of Poplar Tree Road? The current layer is not at the same level as the new curb and gutter. And that is correct. There is a final surface course that will be applied to that roadway. Do we have a timing for that? No? Okay. Don't have a timing for that yet. Okay. So we have a couple more questions coming in, we believe. Okay, along Braddock Road, is there a plan to extend the shared use path across Big Rocky Run to connect with biped infrastructure being developed as part of transformed I-66? I know that our plans right now do not go that far. We have been in discussions with Fairfax County outside of the project to see if there's some ways to do that. And so there's a question here, is the 66 West exit for 53B temporary? The exit slopes uphill, and this will be problematic during winter months, causing backups and delays. I'm not sure what 53B is, and neither is my traffic expert here. So it may be the brand new flyover ramp that goes up, but I think that grade is permanent. It's 53 west. It is 28 north to Dulles. So that's right. It's the brand new ramp that you guys opened a while back. And so that I will just say that that slope does meet highway standards for a highway ramp of that nature. And so, it's
66 west is not on its final line. 66 east.
Oh, this is 66 west. Okay,
66
sorry.
west is not on its final.
Okay. So 60, sorry, I will rephrase. 66 west exit to 28 north to Dulles. It's not in its final alignment currently. So the slope may be adjusted. We'll have to look at that, just vertical slope. But I will just say that all of the ramps have been designed to meet highway standards, including the vertical grades and cross slopes. So. Okay, VDOT DRPT will be receiving the first I-66 transit payment on June 30th, 2021. What is this funding being allocated? Transforming rail in Virginia or new buses? I would need to get back with DRPT and discuss what that is. I know portions of it they are looking at identifying bus routes and identifying and starting to lay the groundwork for bus purchases. I don't know if all of it is going to that, but I know that some of it is. But we'll have that question answered on our website. So is it near Veronica Road? Is that what I'm looking at? So near Veronica Road, will there be a bike trail on 66 West or East? Will it be on the community side of the noise wall, and where would be the access?
That actually emailed that guy specific answers to this question a couple hours ago.
Okay, and so, so,
Along westbound, eastbound is the Bob Ann Trail. That's the confusion.
okay,
Along westbound.
okay, so apparently our team has answered these questions in writing, which they didn't provide me the answers, but they provided the person who asked them the answers. So we do have the answers to those questions, and we will post them on our website. There's two others that are, or another one about a merge point, and I believe that also was been answered. There was a question about when will Poplar Tree Road be widened to 4 lanes to take advantage of the already widened bridge over Route 28? I don't know the timing of that. It will not be done under our project. It would be on a separate project and have its own timeline. Do we have more questions?
4 lanes.
I did that.
That one.
Okay, we're standing by just for a moment because we think there might be a few more questions.
We've had a lot of. So we've had some patients, some questions. So nothing.
So we're hearing that we don't have any further questions at the moment. I might give it just a couple minutes. I did want to, so they're saying they have one more. I did want to, while everybody's still on, remind people that we have a similar meeting tomorrow night, but that will be on the eastern end of the quarter, will be the focus. And it's the same time from 7 to 8:30. So there's a question about the roadway surface condition between 28 and Route 234. It's very rough and not well marked. Is there mitigation for this in the near future? Certainly, as Nancy mentioned that, we're beginning to do these shifts to the outside. And once you're shifted to the outside, you're on new pavement. It's not final surface pavement, but you are on new pavement that is in great, condition. But we will go back and look at that area and see if there's going to be any of those areas that will be for, an extended period. We will, as we've been doing throughout the project, identify if there's any specific areas that need either patching or additional striping. This was 66 going towards 234. There's a question about the bike path on 66 West that connects to the Stringfellow Park and Ride. Where will the entrances be? So, how can you connect in there? I think that you can easily see on our virtual plan maps that are on our website. So I would encourage you to go look at that map and zoom in on the area around Stringfellow Road, and you'll be able to see how the bike path connects there. Okay. Yeah. And so it looks like we are done with our chat room questions. I would just say if you have another question that comes to mind, please email our team. We'll be glad to answer it. And certainly we can include these on the website if other people would like to see what our questions or answers have been. And I would remind people that if you're driving the corridor, it's really changed out there. And to please pay close attention. Do we have our final? Yeah. Isn't there one more slide? And a reminder about our meeting tomorrow night if you're interested in that area of the corridor. And just, our safety message again, be alert, and certainly not on your handheld cell phone, since it is now a new law that went into effect last summer. And just thank you for participating tonight, and encourage you to stay informed with any of the methods that we have. So thank you very much. We appreciate everybody participating with us tonight.